week connect just to kind of let you know what all is going on in the life of the church. Um, just as a reminder, we will continue our worship services online. We're not yet to that point where we're going to go back to in-person worship, but friends, we're working, and I feel it's coming soon. I really do. I feel that we will be able to get back together in some fashion in person. But let me just say this about that. It is not going to be the same. Things are going to be different. And so I just kind of want you to be aware of that we're going to have to do things a little bit differently for this interim period that we're in. And just be open to the slight changes. Remember, we'll keep the same safety protocols that we had before, that you all had before, I guess I should say, to where we're going to ask people to wear masks during worship. We will have singing. We will not have a choir. We will have people leading the singing. We'll have our pianist. We will ask people, make sure, if you're not feeling well, stay home. That should be a no-brainer there. If you've been around somebody who has COVID, please, we ask that you don't come to in-person worship. Or if you think you have been exposed, we will ask that you don't come to in-person worship. Just the common sense things. But what a glorious time it will be to when we can gather back together, and my hope is that come the first Sunday of April, which, if I'm correct, I got to pull my calendar up here, and I'm right. The first Sunday of April is Easter Sunday. Would that not be a great thing that we have Easter worship together in person in the sanctuary, be able to do all the things we do? We will have some form of communion, probably with the little prepackaged element type things, but it'll happen. It's coming, friends. Just don't have the date nailed down yet, but it's going to get here before we know it. Anyway, so worship 10:45 will be live streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can pick your preferred method of watching and join us live, friends. One of the things I've noticed, you're going to find that I am a statistics and analytical type person. I like data. Why? I don't know, because I did not like math class in high school, nor did I like it in college. Although, strangely enough, one of my highest grades I got in college was from a business statistics class. Go figure, right? Anyways, I look at the data on our views and on how many people are watching online, and when they're watching. Are they watching live? Are they watching it recorded? We got a lot of folks watching it recorded, and that's okay. I'm 100% okay with that. But we need to get back in that habit of gathering together for in-person worship, whether it be at 10 o'clock, at 10:45, 10:30, 10:50, whenever it may be. We need to get back in that habit of gathering together as a community of faith, whether we're doing it online or in person. Let's get back in that habit. So I want to encourage you to make a point to join us on one of our live streams, either on Facebook or YouTube. Throw a comment in the box to let us know you're there. Just like on here today, drop me a comment in the box below, and let me know you're here. Let me know you're watching, and let me know you're listening. That's kind of that was our key word last week, was listen, which kind of goes along with our entire sermon series during Lent, which is called Listen to Him, where we are listening to Christ to grow deeper in our relationship with Him. I'll come back to Sunday worship here in just a second. But I want to talk about one other thing. Our Lenten Bible study, we were supposed to start this week, but due to the wonderful snow we had, which, yes, it was gorgeous, but let me just tell you, it sure has thrown a wrench in a lot of things. As you know, my wife and I are trying to move into our new home, new to us home, or however you want to call it. And we have hit snag after snag after snag, all related to the weather. But we're going to get there, and it may not happen in the time we want it to happen, but it'll happen in the time that God wants it to happen, because we know we truly believe the house that we are going to be living in is a gift from God to us, to be used to help help us have a place of respite, a place for our Sabbath time, our place for our rest, but also as an opportunity for ministry as well. We want to use everything that we have in our lives to the glory of God, and that includes our home. And so one of the things that I like to do is I like to cook, and so who knows, maybe we'll have a cookout at our house or do something. Who knows? It won't be anytime soon, unfortunately, but when we're able to do those things, we're going to try to plan on doing a few of those things. We'll do it small groups. It's not a huge house, and we don't have a huge backyard, but we'll manage. Anyways, our Lenten Bible study. We're going to start next week, 7 o'clock. It is going to be online. Now, this is going to stay online unless we decide as a collective not to, if we move back into in-person worship. But either way, it'll be at 7 o'clock Wednesday night on Zoom. We still have a few books left here in the office. We've got more coming. And again, guess what? They got delayed because of the weather, like I said earlier. So join us for that. It's going to be a great study. It's going to follow along, and you're going to get even a deeper understanding of what you hear on Sunday mornings through our sermon series. J.D. Walt, we'll have a little video from him each week, and he's the one who wrote the book that the whole series is based upon. And so we'll hear from him each week, and then we'll talk about different things related to the different weekly topics. And so, like I said, last week we talked about this whole idea of listening and what it truly means to listen to him, which comes from the text in Luke. Remember the disciples, they were up on Transfiguration Mountain. Jesus' appearance was changed. Although they were asleep when all this was taking place, they woke up, and then they heard the voice from heaven saying, "This is my beloved Son, whom with I am well pleased. Listen to him." And then we talked more about what it truly means and how can we better listen to God and listen to God's voice, and how can we know whether or not we are listening to God's voice. And it's interesting enough that this week our topic is going to be ask, which is again coming from that same section of text in the Gospel of Luke. In fact, just so you know, our entire sermon series during Lent will come from the Gospel of Luke. And so I kind of laid out that section. I don't have that note right here in front of me, but it starts in Luke 9 and goes all the way through the crucifixion time. And that's the section that I encouraged you to spend some time in during this Lenten season. But we're going to be around Luke 11 in a passage that talks about asking, seeking, and knocking. Does that sound familiar to anyone? And asking obviously kind of goes along with our prayer life. But I find the coincidence between going from listen to ask very coincidental, because, oftentimes in our prayer lives, when we take time to pray on a regular basis, spend time with God, what do? We think we need to sit there and speak, to pray, to lift up our concerns to God. And so sometimes we just go on and on and on, which there's nothing wrong with that. But my question is, are you going to take time in your daily prayer life to just simply listen? Because as much as God wants to hear from you, as much as God wants to hear your prayers, He also wants to take time to speak to you. And how can He speak to you if you're not listening? If you're not being quiet? And I know for me, that's hard. Sitting quietly is hard. You can sit there and think, oh, I'm going to sit here in silence for the next 5 minutes. And you look at your watch, and 10 seconds have gone by, and it seems like forever. But I want to encourage you, in your daily time with God, in your prayer time, spend as much time as you do speaking or asking, listening. You might be surprised at what you hear. And so I want to encourage you to join us in this journey we're on. We're on a journey. I want to throw up this little picture that I found that comes from Seedbed. If I can get it to come up here. Here it is. This is from this Awakening calendar, which I have right here on my wall, by the way. And it's a great reminder of the season we're in. So we came from this season of Advent, with Christmas time, Advent, down. It's where God came from heaven down to earth into the manger. And so the journey was down. And then now we've just come out of the season of Epiphany, which ended with the Transfiguration up on the mountain, the Mount of Transfiguration. Okay, so you see the upward trend. Well, now we're on our way back to Jerusalem. This whole journey we're on during this season of Lent is taking us to one place, and that's the cross. And this is one of J.D. Walt's favorite illustrations, where the cycle of going from up to down, to up to down, to up to down, to eventually back up. And so we're on the journey down to Jerusalem. And what's most interesting about that image is Jerusalem is kind of a city on a hill. Okay, I want you to, it's surrounded by valleys. And to get to Jerusalem, you must go down and then back up. Kind of interesting there. But anyways, we're on the journey down right now, and that's the season of Lent that we're in right now. And we're on the journey to the cross, which is eventually, where Jesus will give up his life for us. And so I hope you join us on this journey, not just on Sunday mornings, but also during our Lenten Bible study, which will start next week at 7 o'clock. Contact us here in the church office to make sure we get a book to you. I'm not exactly sure about the cost. I think they're around $12 to $13. But I really hope you'll take the time to join us. Remember, we're going to limit that class to about 12 people because that's what's manageable for me. But I look forward to joining you all on Sunday as we continue in our series, Listen to Him, this week focusing on that idea of asking. Friends, I hope you have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Practice all that stuff that has been drilled into us over the last year. I know it seems like forever, but it's only been a year. More I could say about that some other time, but we know one day we're going to get through this. Life will get back to whatever the new normal is, and we will hopefully this whole COVID thing, I think it's going to be with us for a long time, just the memories and all that's happened, because, so many people have been stricken with the illness. So many people have lost loved ones because of it. The reminders of this time is going to last for a long time, but we know we're going to come out of it because God will see us through it. So take care. God bless, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.